Ooga chaka, ooka 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 chaka, ooka 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 chaka, ooka 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 chaka. Oh, hello everybody. 1 second. That's better. Welcome to another episode of Multi-Voice Review. I'm the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today, after the my last video, I reviewed Volume 1 of Hitchhiker's Guide to the not Hitchhikers, Guardians of the Galaxy. So now I'm gonna pick up where the Volume 1 left off. Without further ado, let's dig into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and see how the whole story goes from there, huh? Now, of course, according to the graphic novel, we have the usual Star-Lord. Of course, we have Moondragon. And, of course, Phyla-Vell. Drax the Destroyer. Gamora. Mantis. Major Victory. Which turns out I need to correct myself. The OG Guardians of the Galaxy back in the 70s, they were supposed to be a group of alien superheroes back in the back in 300s. They finally called themselves the Council of Guardians of All Galaxies. And of course, we also have Rocket and Groot. And also Bug. Jack Flag. And of course, Adam Warlock. So let's see how this story goes compared to the other one. Now let's see here. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy who went to this club with a bunch of female alien dancers. And then all of a sudden, there's a big bar fight going on. Turns out the Guardians of the Galaxy pretty much interrupted the bar. And of course, we have the original characters, the original Guardians themselves, the one I mentioned. But surprisingly, they were battling against the Shi'ar. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Shi'ar is, the Shi'ar are a bunch of aliens who evolved from birds. Except one thing, it's kind of interesting. The Shi'ar gets involved with the X-Men, and of course, their Shi'ar leader is a very close on-again, off-again relationship with Professor X. But of course, this time the X-Men is not in the story. But after the Shi'ar and the Guardians were fighting, they decided to go back to their place at nowhere and rethink about what they've done and how this whole thing happened. And as usual, Star-Lord and Rocket, they had to discuss their strategy as Guardians and see see if they're doing the right thing as heroes or not. And then we had to meet a bunch of Kree, so half the team, which is Star-Lord, Jack Flag, Phyla-Vell, Gamora, and Bug, they have to go deal with the Kree, while the other team, Major Victory, Adam Warlock, Rocket and Groot, and Drax, they have to go to the other planet. And of course, Rocket said the Shi'ar team is ready to rocket. Hello, Control. I said, are we ready? And after they left, Mantis, Cosmo, and Moondragon, they all laughed. Now, of course, they ended up in a piece of a meteor that's going next to a black hole, so they had to fight their way out of here. While Star-Lord and his team, they went all the way with the Kree to meet the Inhumans. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Inhumans are, they were a group of human beings who were experimented by the Kree as weapons, but since they couldn't use the Inhumans, they abandoned them on Earth. But now the Inhumans, they have special powers and abilities thanks to the Kree. But the MCU tried to use the Inhumans as a replacement to the X-Men. Yeah, not a good plan. Because the Inhumans, they have special powers and abilities, but they know how to control them. Unlike the X-Men, where the mutants, they have special powers that they cannot control. Big difference. So, that's why I think it's a bad idea for the MCU to have the Inhumans replace the X-Men. And when they tried to do a TV series involving the Inhumans, it didn't go well. Not at all. So I guess that's why Disney had no choice but make a deal with 20th Century Fox and have all the rights of all the Marvel characters that Fox own. But they still don't own Spider-Man because Spider-Man is still owned by Sony and TriStar Columbia. Imagine that. And of course, the Inhumans is owned by two of the couples who are rulers of the Inhumans, Black Bolt and Medusa. Black Bolt, his powers and abilities is that he cannot say a word. He cannot talk because if he says something, he has like this sonic booming voice thing going. So anytime if he says something, it would shatter people and objects. Even a whisper can create an earthquake that would destroy dozens of people. So that's why he never talks. And his wife Medusa, she's a long red-haired woman who can control her hair like 8 pairs of hands. So she controls her hands and her arms. And of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy tries to make a deal with the Inhuman, but the Inhuman said no. Meanwhile, the other team, they were almost stranded in space, but out of nowhere, Adam Warlock was left behind, and he deals with the Shi'ar Empire guards, aliens who are devoted to the Shi'ar, and he battles against their mutant leader, who is also Cyclops' other brother, Vulcan. He starts battling against Adam Warlock, while the rest of the Guardians, they almost died in space until a group of Starjammers showed up. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Starjammer is, they're a group of mutants and aliens who travels through space as pirates, but they do help out the Shi'ar Empire, led by Cyclops' father, who is in charge of the Shi'ar. But of course, from the look of this comic, the Shi'ar members, we have, not the Shi'ar, the Starjammer members, we have Havoc, Cyclops' brother, Shaddad, and Kree, Polaris, and Rachel Summers, daughter of Scott and Jean Grey. Well, at least they don't mention Madeline Pryor, the clone of Jean Grey, except if I have to explain about Madeline Pryor. Well, it would be complicated. I mean, it's like doing a jigsaw puzzle, hanging upside down, blindfolded with two hands tied behind your back. That complicated. Anyway, Rocket Raccoon asked Havoc where's his dad, but he said his dad is dead. But they know something's going on, so they have to figure out what's going on with the Shi'ar. So the Guardians decided to help out the Starjammers. Same time, Falcon and Adam Warlock starts fighting each other. And of course the Shi'ar Empire guards trying to stop the fight. And of course Falcon, he says, I am the universe. But at the same time, the Inhumans, they decided not to help. They have no business with the Guardians. And of course, even Bug's trying to persuade Medusa, but one of the Inhumans stopped him. And then something really stupid happened. Former Quasar, Phyla-Vell, shot a beam right at one of the members. And now the Guardians are all surrounded by the Kree army who serves the Inhumans. While at the same time, Falcon is battling against Adam Warlock. And then here's the shocker of all. Adam Warlock is no longer Adam Warlock now. Adam Warlock becomes Adam Magus. Now, for those of you who don't know who Magus is, he is Adam Warlock. When he absorbs the power of an evil person, it turns him evil. And when he is evil, he thinks he's an intergalactic version of Jesus. I know it sounds a little blaspheme, but still. When he's Magus, he's in charge of the Church of Truth. And now the Empire are being mad at Falcon on what he's been doing. Meanwhile, oh yeah, the Inhuman, they're in this planet called Atelian. And she's trying to stop the Inhumans for trying to attack the Guardians. You see, Crystal here, she used to be a former member of the Fantastic Four, and she cares about the human race compared to the other Inhumans. They don't want nothing to do with the human race. So she starts confronting Medusa. But Phyla-Vell did something stupid. She decided to kidnap Crystal. And even Star-Lord said, "Are you nuts? Let her go!" But she was being stubborn and didn't listen. And of course, Star-Lord tried to apologize to the Inhumans. And then they teleported Adam Warlock. Nowhere teleported Adam Warlock. And it turns out that he branded a mark on his back. I don't think that's good. At the same time, they teleported Star-Lord, been getting pissed off on what Phyla-Vell did, and Phyla-Vell showed up with Crystal. And they were telling her what she's doing, and she said, well, the Inhumans didn't listen to them, so she's persuading. And then here we go. The Inhumans teleported themselves into nowhere, and so did the Shi'ar Empire guards showed up. So now, the Inhumans and the Shi'ar Empire are going against the Guardians. Well, here's another nice mess you got them into, Phyla-Vell. And I don't know why did Vulcan attacked Adam Warlock in the first place. Now, all the characters starts defending themselves against the Shi'ar and the Inhuman until Crystal flipped Phyla-Vell over. And now the Shi'ar is leaving, while the Inhuman is still fighting against the Guardians. But the Shi'ar came back. And, of course, Black Bolt ended the fight with the Shi'ar by just saying something, and it knocked out the Shi'ar. And Black Bolt carried Crystal out of here. So now the Inhumans are gone. Well, since the Inhumans are gone, the Shi'ar is still trying to attack the Guardians. Even the Council, even the original Council from the last issue, the Liminals, led by Krenisar and Garani. So now the Shi'ar starts attacking the Guardians, and Moondragon went all the way to find the imprisoned Starhawk, the female one, while the Shi'ar starts scouring for some more members of the Guardians. But sadly, this is when Adam Warlock became Magus. And when he became Magus, he used his powers, and he pretty much knocked out one of the Shi'ar members. And also killed off some of the Shi'ar troops. Now the rest of the Guardians are battling the Shi'ar army. And then the Shi'ar finally fled. Oh yeah, and they even asked the Shi'ar Empire what happened to their leader. The one I mentioned, Lilandra. She was the queen of the Shi'ar. But this Brainiac-looking guy, who's a member of the Shi'ar Empire Guard, he told Rocket that Lilandra's dead. I guess somehow Rocket knew about Lilandra, and now he's upset about it, knowing that the queen of the Shi'ar, Lilandra, is gone. So, Cyclops' dad, who runs the Starjammers, is gone. And Lilandra, who is the queen of the Shi'ar, is gone. What the hell? So now the Guardians decided to sit down and talk about what just happened and what the heck is going on. But they have a bigger problem. Turns out they have Magus in their starship, and also Starhawk is free, and she teleported the Guardians into another world, into a prototype time machine created by Victor Von Doom. And it looks like they're in a museum. And then we have a group of the OG Guardians of the Galaxy, also known as the Council of the Guardians of all galaxies, showing up. And it's the original ones. I mean, we have Martinix, Yondu, the Native American, not the redneck, Charlie 27, and they were, and of course, Major Victory. I guess it's their Major Victory and not the one who is with the retros. They start battling against those Guardians of the Galaxy. Yondu shot his arrow, but Mantis captured it. And Yondu says, "I like you, Green Girl." And it turns out that they are in the year 3000, and this was Remain of Earth in the year 3000. So this is their original base on where they live. Imagine that. So now they need to figure out where they are and who are they, and they discover that they are the Guardians of the Galaxy in modern times, while the Council of the Guardians of all galaxies, they are the ones from the future. And then a bunch of zombies of Badoons showed up. They were like the mortal enemies to the OG Guardians of the Galaxy. The one from the 3000. So now they got on their ship, and one by one, and then all of a sudden, one by one, all these Jadoons were getting destroyed until female Starhawk sacrificed herself in order to save the Guardians. So when they got on their ship, they had to make their escape. They couldn't believe what they just witnessed. And then they discovered that there is this big giant flaming star that it's guarded by a group of Celestials. Now, some of you do know about Celestials. They are like the giant titans of the galaxy. The ones who created the Eternals. So now they're all guarding this one big giant star for some reason. While at the same time, the Guardians starts getting to know each other, getting to know one another. Like Jack Flag, he starts meeting Charlie 27. Start to get to know each other better. And Mantis start to get to know Yondu, since Yondu got interested in Mantis when she captured his arrow. So they had to get in one of those Celestial. So they teleported themselves into the inside of the Celestial who was guarding the star. And there's a bunch of Badoon showing up. And they start fighting against them one by one. The Jadoon is starting to weaken one of those Celestials. And that Celestial let go and just fell into the big star. Well, at the same time, Valken starts battling against Black Bolt, and then their base blew up. While some of the remaining Guardians found Adam Warlock, he's now back to normal. While the Inhumans trying their best to trying to get out of there, since the whole deal against Falcon. And of course, believe it or not, Ronan the Accuser is in this. Except he's not being a biggie baddie bad guy this time. And the Guardians, they showed up in front of the Inhumans, and this time Medusa stopped. Turns out that Medusa, her husband, is dead because he died after battling against Vulcan. But Phyla-Vell had to act like a real bitch and saying, "Oh, boo-hoo." So she pinned him in the wall with her hair, while this huge, slimy, Lovecraftian tentacle starts wrapping around their base. So now, the Inhumans and the Guardians put aside their differences and start working together. So they had to get rid of some of these slimy creatures coming out of the tentacles until they're finally free. And it turns out that there's these ships, the Church of Truth ships. And there's Adam Warlock there, along with Gamora. Now, Phyla-Vell knows what's going on, and Gamora, she starts going along with Adam until Adam says, "I believe," and that's not a good sign. And when the whole thing was over, Adam Warlock, he finally stopped and everything went peace until he gets stabbed in the back by Phyla-Vell. Gamora said, "Phyla-Vell, what are you doing?" And then they both start fighting. I mean, why in the hell is Phyla-Vell acting like a real bitch? I mean, doing things without thinking. But anyway, they started fighting against one another. And Gamora did stab Phyla-Vell in the chest. But when Gamora checked on Adam Warlock, he became Magus. And he grabbed Gamora right in the throat and snapped her neck and tossed her down the stairs and start grinning triumphantly. Magus did. And says, "Magus! Adam Magus!" And all those people from the Church of Truth start worshipping him. Meanwhile, in the Station of the Celestials, they meet more members of the Council of the Guardians of all Galaxies. We have Killraven, Nikki, and yeah, for those of you who have played the video game of Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, it's the same Nikki from the video game, which in the video game she is Star-Lord's daughter, but in this comic, she's not related to Star-Lord. And also Hollywood, which is actually a futuristic version of Wonder Man. And they meet and they were all battling against these War of the World like tripod robots. Until all of a sudden, the Retro Guardians got teleported. But the teleportation went haywire. It turned Mantis into a little baby. And it turned Star-Lord into an old man. That even Jack Flag called him Grandpa. Gee, that sucks. Turned Mantis into a little baby and turned Star-Lord into an old man. I know how I would act if I was getting old. If I turned into an old man, I would say, "I'm getting too old for this shit." But Jack Flag and Bug and Kratos and Cosmos is still doing okay. They battled against the tripods, and they helped the Guardians of all Galaxies. The Council of of the Guardians of all Galaxies. And after the whole fight, that's when they all decided to team up. And even Starhawk recognized Jack Flag, and he hugged him. So they went to this futuristic world where it's like hell on Earth. And then they found the original base, the base that the OG Guardians are at. And they had to get there. So they teleported themselves, and they found a secret headquarters, except another malfunction. It made Jack Flag see-through. Like, you can see right through him. He's starting to look like a ghost. And in the fortress, they have tons of mechanical stuff going on. Like, there's a whole collection of Iron Man armor and even giant sentinels. And then they bump into a bunch of Starks, aliens that learned the technology from well, I mean, the aliens, they're called Starks, so they were all inspired by Tony Stark. Although not many people know that those Stark aliens, that's what Taserface was. You know, the one who calls himself Taserface, even though it was the most stupidest name I ever heard. I am called Taserface! You know what would be a good name? Taserface! What's your next suggestion? Scrotum hat? But anyway, the Guardians... Oh yeah, and also Cosmos turned into a little puppy, while Bug is carrying baby Mantis. And they landed right in the middle of the fight with the Guardians in the year 3009. And they went into this tunnel which shows a statue of Magus. And some of their believers starting attacking them one by one. And there was like too many of them until they all got stopped by a giant big light. And that big light turned out to be Kang, the Conqueror. That's right. The same King the Conqueror from the Loki series, which they were trying to make him into a main villain in Ant-Man Quantum. Until the actor who played King the Conqueror, his career was over because of some scandal happened to him. Too bad. I wonder what kind of idea they had with King the Conqueror. But at least we have Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. I mean, not Iron Man, but Doctor Doom, which he is my number one favorite Marvel villain, besides Joker. Joker was my number one favorite DC villain, and Doctor Doom is my number one favorite Marvel villain. Except this time, Kang the Conqueror, he's being a good guy in this one. He's helping the Guardians out of here. Out of the whole predicament. And he was nice enough to turn the members back to normal. He made Star-Lord go back to young again so he's not an old man. Turned baby Mantis back into a full-grown Mantis. And she got naked and Bug was staring at her saying, "Nice." And of course, Cosmo became a full-grown dog. And now, and also Jack Flag went solid. He ain't see-through anymore. And of course, King the Conqueror, he has a whole army of every variant of Starhawk everywhere. They know that Magus is going to become evil soon, and they know that he's going to control the Church of Truth. So the only weapon that they can use is the Cosmic Cube. You know, the Tesseract from the Avengers and also Captain America. It's the only weapon they can use against the greatest threat, and they think it's Magus. And now the temple is being collapsed because the Church of Truth started attacking the base. So the whole variant of Star Hawks are battling against the whole army of the Church of Truth. So one thing Kane can do, he starts fighting against the Church of Truth folks while he teleports the Guardians. Anyway, back to the story. Now this takes place before Phyla-Vell kills Adam Warlock by stabbing him in the death of Gamora. The Guardians showed up and stopped Phyla-Vell. They stopped her for trying to kill Adam Warlock. And of course, the rest of the other Guardians showed up too. So they all showed up, and of course, Star-Lord has the Cosmic Cube, and he's trying to check on Adam to see if he's doing okay. Right now, he's in a daze, but too late. He became Magus, and he knocked every single member of the Guardians down. And even Rocket fired his laser, but he stopped it. Even Groot grabbed him, but he made his hand blew up into splinters. And when Phyla-Vell was about ready to cut him in half with her sword, he grabbed her sword and stabbed her. And when Gamora stopped Magus was sword fighting against her, and then Major Victory threw his shield, his Captain America shield, at Magus. Magus captured it, shielded himself, and whacked Gamora with the shield, and then throw it back to Major Victory, and it cut his suit, and it starts killing him. Because if his suit is cut, he'll die. And when the others showed up, Drax punched him really hard with a gut with his powerful punch. But he reversed the punch back to him. So Star-Lord had to grab the Cosmic Cube and try to change him back into Adam. And sadly, Star-Lord had no choice. Because this is going to be temporary. He's going to come back as Magus again. So Star-Lord grabbed his gun and shot Adam Warlock right between the eyes in order to end this. The Guardians teleported back. Some of the members are gone. And even Drax had to tell Moondragon about Phyla-Vell. And Moondragon can't believe it. And all of a sudden, Moondragon kept having visions about the whole income, and she kept having dreams about it, and she woke up after that nightmare of the visions she saw. Well, at the same time, the Guardians are trying to cope over their loss while they're focusing throughout the galaxy on what to do next. And then this huge, giant snake or eel-like creature showed up. So, Rocket and Drax had to deal against this creature. and they killed it. And some of the members, it turns out some of the members were eaten by that eel. So they all survived. And now they meet the council with the two people I mentioned. And they're kind of wondering, could the Guardians be trusted or not? They're having a huge debate. And Moondragon, she starts visioning this giant cocoon and a big hand coming out of it. She doesn't know what it is until she fainted. And the council are trying to figure out, can she be trusted or not? So all the Guardian members starts hanging out in their bar in nowhere, getting drunk, while still mourning their loss. And one of the members showed up and started attacking Moondragon. She starts defending herself until that member of the council was an imposter. This black gooey creature was inside it and starts attacking Moondragon. So the only thing Moondragon did, she used her powers. And one thing she did, she contained the creature, while the counselors still think that Moondragon cannot be trusted. And it turns out these people have robes on them, and they're starting to act like those people from the Church of Fate. They started bothering Moondragon until this black creature starts chopping off the heads of one of the church members and start going after the leader of the council. So now Moondragon had no choice. She absorbed the gluey monster by swallowing it. And even Rocket said, "That's just nasty." So now Moondragon has a creature in her belly, like she's pregnant. Even the members just can't get over what happened. I mean, it was just so shocking and creepy and traumatizing to them. But Moondragon said that that creature is from the Cancerverse. But the council's still debating that since she has a creature in her, can she be trusted? So the leader of the council handcuffed her and taken her with them. Star-Lord's getting pissed about it. But they think it's necessary while Rocket is arguing with the council. But Drax doesn't feel right because Moondragon is his daughter. He has to be there. And then when he was trying to find his daughter and that woman who handcuffed her, discovered that the doctors were killed by the Church of Truth, and they were kidnapping the head council and Moondragon because she's handcuffed to her. And one of the guard of the Council of Truth said, "No witness." So Drax starts knocking them out, starts killing every single one of them. Even one of the warriors of the Church of Truth says, "I believe," and Drax says, "I believe this is gonna hurt," and he stabs him in the chest with his blades. And then the Queen of the Church of Truth try to give Drax a vision that would knock him out. And then they took the girl away. And then they bound her in their high temple as some sort of offering to their beliefs. This is why I don't like cults. Because they're crazy. But the Guardians showed up. They were disguised themselves as robe believers, but they showed up to save their friend. And even their space station, Nowhere, clashes into their ship. Rocket did some adjustment on that. And even Rocket made the eyes of their station Nowhere start shooting laser out of its eyes. And all the Guardians starts battling against the Church of Truth. Even one of the guards, he starts spatting out something stupid until Groot says, "I am Groot!" and stomps on him. And of course, Drax showed up. And the queen of the Church of Truth says, "You, Drax! But I destroyed you!" And Drax the Destroyer says, "It's funny how things work out, lady." And they tried to contain him, but no use. And Star-Lord told the leader of the Nowhere Council to get rid of the handcuffs, because now's not the time to get hooked with Moondragon. So she agreed with him and unhooked the handcuffs. And then all of a sudden, Moondragon starts seeing visions of Phyla-Vell. And of course, the council member on Nowhere showed up to help out the Guardians. About damn time they start working together. They're living in the same space station. Now's not the time to start fighting against each other and start working together! Anyway, Drax knocked out the last guy and got reunited with his daughter, Moondragon. And that's when the Council and the Guardians decided now's not the time to go against each other, because they got a bigger situation, and it's the Church of Truth here. And they finally got that green goo creature out of her belly, and they put it in a little container and toss it out into the sun. Toss it out into the stars, into the Cancerverse. While the Church of Truth, in the other hand, the Queen showed up and didn't succeed on what they were trying to do. And it turns out that Adam is alive, but as Magus. And he has Gamora, Mantis, Major Victory, Cosmos, and Phyla-Vell contained. So, even though Adam Warlock killed them, the cosmic cubes made their soul wander, and it brought them back to their bodies. So even though Magus killed them, the cosmic cube made them able to put their souls back to their bodies. Man, it's getting a little intense and strange. I love it. But Magus had these members who used to have been dead, tortured in his dungeon. While at the same time, the Guardians visit the Inhumans, and Crystal accepted their apologies. And believe it or not, they have one of their alien warriors who sided with them, which is Blastar. Gee, I guess he's turning over a new leaf and start being with the Inhumans. And it turns out that there's a mysterious assassin about ready to shoot Blastar, while at the same time, the torturer starts torturing Phyla-Vell, but their souls are out of their bodies. And then they keep going back to their bodies, so the torturer can torture them more. And Moondragon starts sensing that they are alive, and starts sharing it to the other members, because now they know that their members are not dead. And then the assassin sent a group of these monsters here, these weird creatures here, to start going after Blastar. While at the same time, Phyla-Vell is contacting Moondragon and telling her that he loves her. And then, that last whip, Phyla-Vell freed herself and summoned her sword and killed the torturers and freed the others. And after freeing them, she says, "Now, who wants to go save the universe?" So now, Phyla-Vell, Mantis, Gamora, Cosmo, and Major Victory, they start battling against those guards that imprisoned them and start bringing the fight to the enemy. A lot of action here going on, while at the same time, the Guardians are battling these creatures who's trying to kill Crystal and Blastar. And after all this is over, and then this whole intergalactic council is come into fruition, and the council is trying to form a business. They want to find somebody who would be in charge and be the ruler of Planet X. And they all ignited Groot as the king of Planet X. And of course, Groot got up, put his hand in his chest, and say, "I am Groot." Meanwhile, they check in the hospital to see what Moondragon's doing. She still is shocked, while the Queen of Truth, she starts attacking the last members of the Guardians, the one who are in prison. And the Queen starts defeating them until Major Victory used his Captain America shield and knock out the Queen. Even Major Victory says, I don't like to hit women." Well, this bitch deserves it because... And then... Here's the biggest shocker involving that giant cocoon. You see, Phyla-Vell, she met Maelstrom. And Maelstrom showed him the pod. And here's the biggest shocker of all, folks. What was in that pod? Well, Phyla-Vell opened it, and she said, "No, it can't be. Turns out the pod belongs to the Mad Titan himself, Thanos." "I am inevitable." Ah, shut up! I hate Thanos. Hate him ever since Infinity War. So it turns out that cocoon, the Church of Truth, were trying to bring back Thanos? Of all people? So now the Council of the Guardians of all Galaxies, they all start having a meeting with all the variants, while the Retro Guardians, the ones I'm reviewing here, they start showing up in this area, and they finally found the rest of the member. Star-Lord finally got reunited with Mantis, and they both hugged. Major Victory shaking hands with Jack Flag. Rocket, even though he doesn't show it, but he says, "Good seeing you, Cosmos." And Moondragon's wondering where's Phyla-Vell, until Thanos showed up. And Thanos starts tearing everything around him. So now the entire Guardians has to team up together to stop this newborn Thanos. And of course, according to this comic, Thanos is buck naked. I mean, everything purple. He kind of looks like... Actually, he looks like the Grimace if he's shoving steroids up his ass. They shot all their lasers at him. Didn't work. Made him extremely pissed. And one by one, every single Guardian's trying to take down this newborn Thanos, including Drax the Destroyer, since his purpose was to destroy Thanos. But he's too strong. Until Star-Lord had to walk up to Thanos and showed him the Cosmic Cube, the Tesseract. And he used it against Thanos, and Thanos weakened him. And it knocked Thanos out. And the Council of all Guardians of the Galaxy see the action. And now they know what's going to happen. After battling the newborn Thanos, it ain't over yet. So, since all the Guardians of the Galaxy got all reunited, they all went back to nowhere and start hanging out in bars, celebrating their victory. And even Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord, they cheered each other with their beer bottles. And this is the end of Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, this is the end of this one. But stay tuned. In the next review, this is going to be the final story. And it's called... Now, I kept trying to pronounce the last one. This one is the Thanos Epitaph. So stay tuned for the third and final volume, the Thanos Epitaph, the final story of the Guardians, except it's going to involve other characters besides the Guardians. So stay tuned for Volume 3. So any of you who likes this review so far, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. As for me, time for me to go partying. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. Ooga chaka, deep inside of me. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.